Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Burnley against Manchester United preview. I hope you've all had a fantastic Christmas. It is still Christmas really, isn't it? That great period between Christmas and New Year where you can sort of relax a bit. But I tell you what, don't get any post-Christmas blues because we have got a very exciting period with Manchester United. I said it before Christmas and I'm going to say it now because it's the truth. We've got Burnley away, we've got Arsenal away in the league, we've got Wolves away in the Cup on next Saturday. Then we've got the first leg against Man City. The transfer window opens in less than a week. There's lots and lots to hopefully look forward to with Manchester United. What I would say is I don't look forward to it with any firm conviction, but I still look forward to it. Let's see what's going to happen. And this Burnley game, it's amazing, isn't it? We're playing 2 games in 48 hours. And I think it's all about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's game planning. And we will be talking about his press conference in this preview as well. He did do a press conference, if you weren't aware about that. It's very quick changeover. Some of us won't even know what bloody day it is because Christmas does that to us. It's Friday. Tomorrow's Saturday. It's a Saturday night kickoff. We'll have a normal watch-along. Thanks for everyone who tuned into the watch-along yesterday. The kids and nephews and nieces wanted to be on it. So it was just a Christmas sort of family watch-along. And I hope people enjoyed that if you did watch it. But some bad news for Manchester United. Let's start off with this. We are live at 8 o'clock tonight. That's not the bad news. We'll be having a Christmas drink. Join me for that. Looking forward to it. We'll be talking about the midfield options because Scott McTominay has potential knee ligament damage. I think it's from when he had that 50-50 in the first half. He looked up for it yesterday. He looked raring to go. He picked up a yellow card in the first 30 seconds and he had a 50-50 where I think he's done his knee ligaments. That's what Ollie's saying. They've got to have a scan. But look, what I would say is this is a significant problem for United twofold. One, were we actually signing a midfield in January that we needed to sign? The news was we weren't. Are we now going to sign a midfielder in January because we have to? You know, if we're firing in the Europa League, the top 4 doors opened up again with Chelsea losing to Southampton. That door's wide open again. How? It's like a bloody revolving door. We keep getting off, you know, it just goes round and round. Come in, come in, come in. You know, we keep blowing it, but they say come in again. Top 4 is there for United again. Again, I've got no conviction that we'll get it. But it's there. And I think this season it's there. And interestingly, we'll be talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I said this on the match reaction. I thought what he said just before Christmas was not right. Bordering on a disgrace, really. Because if Van Gaal or Moyes or Jose had said it, people would have said it was a disgrace. So I'm going to say it's a disgrace when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said before Christmas that it's about building a team for next season. When is it ever acceptable for United to write a season off? You don't say that, and you certainly don't say it publicly, but he's clarified it. I think he's redeemed himself, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But how are we going to beat Burnley, first of all? Game, no McTominay, and the second thing about that is Pogba. I don't. Do you think Pogba was going to play in a more advanced midfield position? I don't. I think he was always coming back to play in one of the 2 holding midfield roles, and obviously I think now with McTominay's injury he definitely will. So Lingard and Mata and Pereira, they'll be smiling this morning because they know that they're going to get a lot more game time now. Whereas really, I think we all wanted it to be Pogba. But to be honest with you, I don't think Ollie was ever going to do McTominay Fred with Pogba as a more attacking midfielder. I don't think he wanted to do that. And if he wanted to do that, he would have done it at the start of the season, and he didn't. It was always McTominay and Pogba, I think, at the start of the season in the 2 holding positions. I don't think he wants to play Pogba there, and it's certainly not going to happen with McTominay injured now. So how we line up in this game, Ollie said in his press conference that, look, this has worked out well for us. 2 games in 48 hours, it's not fair, but our game was over at half-time and we've got a young team, so we'll be fine. And he also, I mean, one thing he got really wrong is he said, we've got the best fitness department in the country. We haven't even got the best fitness department in the Manchester area. I think bloody LA Fitness or one of these bloody gyms has got a better fitness department than us. We haven't got. I'm sorry, Ollie. We have not got the best fitness department in the country. You might think you've recruited the best fitness department in the country, and some of them might be your mates. But they are far from, they are not good. I'm sorry. Look at the injury crisis we had again between September and November. We have that every year. Look at us between August and November where we were knackered in the second half. Our fitness conditioning is not good enough. Last year we had an injury crisis in February and March. I think we'll have another one. I think United's fitness conditioning over the last 5 to 6 years, even Sir Alex Ferguson's last couple of years, has been awful. And I don't know why we've never done anything about it. We pick up way too many injuries. But by the by, how do we approach this game with Burnley? Because you know what? I've got to say, game planning is really important. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer against Newcastle picked his strongest team because he had to win. And I agree with that. But I think if he'd had a little bit more comfort, if he was comfortably in top four, I think he would have gone with a weaker team against Newcastle and a stronger team against Burnley. But because of that Watford result, because if he'd lost to Newcastle, he might be staring down the barrel of the sack again, I think he went with a very strong team and he got the 3 points that he needed to do. But surely he has to therefore go weaker against Burnley, because 2 games in 48 hours, you've lost McTominay already. You can't be losing 2 or 3 other players because you're overplaying them, especially with Arsenal, Wolves and Man City to come, which I think are all bigger games. So he's got to play players against Burnley that are sort of squad players. But I still think he'll play a lot of first teamers, which is risky, but you know, that's down to Ollie. So I think we'll see De Gea in goal. I think we'll see Wan-Bissaka play again, even though he played against Newcastle. I think Maguire will play again, even though he played against Newcastle. And I think Phil Jones has got to play. I don't want him to play, but I think Twansibi's injured, and you've given him a 5-year contract. He's a senior pro. I don't rate him, but I think you've got to play him. I think Williams has got to play at left back because I think Luke Shaw does need a rest. He's only been back from injury himself a few weeks, and with so many games, Luke Shaw needs to play against Arsenal, so Brandon Williams needs to play against Burnley. Matic has got to play, give Fred a rest. You know, Fred was very good against Newcastle. Midfield, you get through a lot of running. He played 90 minutes, Fred, I think, so he needs a rest. It's got to be Matic with Pogba, who only played 45 minutes against Newcastle. I think Lingard's got to play because Pereira played 90 against Newcastle, and Mata's no good away from home, so Lingard's got to play. Dan James will definitely play and Greenwood won't, because Greenwood played for 90 minutes against Newcastle. Dan James didn't play at all, so that makes sense. And I think the front two will be Martial and Rashford, which worries me. It worries me about Martial and Rashford, but they did come off relatively early after an hour, so they should be okay. But you know, this is a squad game and this is a very big risk. But I think we're going to beat Burnley. Before I talk about Ollie's press conference, I think we're going to beat Burnley. I'm going to go 3-1. I think that Burnley will struggle because they lost away to Everton. They did have to play a hard game, and I think United will be younger and fitter, and I think Ollie's right about that, and I can see us winning 3-1. Because the one thing I said about United yesterday is I don't see United conceding more than 1 goal in most games. And I know we have done it a few times, and I know we've had no clean sheets, and that's not acceptable, and we always do concede. But we're not a team that really tends to let 2, 3, 4 goals in. So, but I think at the moment, especially with Pogba back, we look like we're going to score at least 2 goals every game. So I think we'll win. I think this could be another 3 points, another big 3 points that take us into these bigger games, and that top 4 opportunity in the transfer window could really open things up for United. So I do think we'll win. But let's have a look at what Ollie said. So Ollie said that, he's quite positive actually. I mean, I think Ollie after a win is always quite positive and easy to listen to. And he said, we'd like top 4 to be decided before the last game of the season against Leicester. So he's openly talking about top 4, and I think they've got to grasp it this time. I think United have been a little bit lucky, but not really lucky, because it's just the season. You know, it is what it is. When Mourinho got the sack last year, after 17 games, he had more points than Ollie had. But the gap between where Ollie and Jose was in the league, like Jose was double points figures off top 4, whereas Ollie was like 4 or 5. So there's a lot of crap teams in this league this year dropping points, and Chelsea losing games at home to Southampton and West Ham have opened that door up again. So United have got to grasp it this time, and I think Ollie, obviously talking about top 4, he did also clarify that comment that he said just before Christmas about building for next season, which I thought was disgusting. You can't say that as a United manager. You cannot say we're building for next season and write a season off, especially when your biggest rival, Liverpool, are about to win the bloody league. But what he did say is, next season, it's about building a team for next season, but it might be a challenge for more than top 4 next season. So he's saying it's not necessarily about building a team for top 4 next season. We might be building a team to go for a title next year, which is probably a bit premature, but I like that sort of positivity. And he said that this team can do a lot more this season, and talking about top 4. So clarity there. Look, at the end of the day, if we're going for top 4 this season, I'm happy. And if next season we're trying to go more than that, I'm happy. So he's clarified the comment. Let's move on. That's positivity from Ollie. He said that, talking about the Newcastle game, he said that's United at their best at the moment, playing that high energy, creating a lot of chances. We can't play like Man City because we can't do the tiki-taka football at the moment. So for us, it's about energy and drive in every game, and that's us at our best. And I don't think we get that every game, and I think Ollie knows that. So it's that consistency word again. What I would say about the Newcastle game is actually, I don't know the answer to this, but how many clear-cut chances did we create? The Martial goal, maybe the keeper should have saved it. It's a good shot. Second Martial goal is an assist from Sean Longstaff, who doesn't play for us. The Greenwood goal, again, was another assist from a Newcastle player. And the Rashford goal was just a brilliant goal. So, we still don't create enough chances, I don't think, but I don't want to moan about that Newcastle game. It was very, very good to watch. I think that Ollie was very positive, and I think going into this game, hopefully that positivity we just need to get 3 points against Burnley, 7th in the league, so even a win against Newcastle doesn't bounce us up into 5th like it has done in the past. So we're still in 7th, behind a few teams, but this weekend against Burnley is a real opportunity, and the Arsenal game, to get 6 points from 2 away games, which is where we normally struggle. And what my question to you, remember we're live at 8 o'clock tonight, so join me for a Christmas drink. We'll be talking about what we need to do in the midfield option. We've got to sign somebody in January in the midfield. The club weren't going to sign a midfielder. With McTominay's injury, they've got to do it. They've got to do it. You cannot go into the last few months of the season without McTominay, with just Pogba, Fred and Matic and Pereira. We've got to sign a midfielder in January. The club have got to get their finger out, and if they don't, it's a bloody disgrace. So we'll be talking about that at 8 o'clock. But more relevant to this preview, please do smash a like on the video, by the way. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, but please do smash a like. Join me at 8 o'clock. Remember, the United Stands live every night at 8 o'clock. And what I want to say is this. How many points do you think we're going to get out of Burnley and Arsenal? Because for me, I think we've got to take 6. I know we've been poor away from home this season, but I think we've got to take 6. And I think we'll take 4. I think we will beat Burnley, and I think we will draw with Arsenal. We need to take 6. We've dropped too many silly points. But that top 4 door is open again. We cannot let it shut in our face. We've got to get it. And I think we will beat Burnley tomorrow. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you all at 8 o'clock.